Good morning, our viewers. Thank you for staying with us. And you're welcome to the first inaugural edition of The Insight, where we explore the heartbeat of politics and the voice of the people. Here on Aneke TV, I am Uche Osai. Today, we will dive into the headlines that has been dominating the news recently. We will try to bring you experts, analysts, hot debates, and the voice of your neighbors in the street. To join us on this show today is Comrade Kenneth Ofoma, former Vice President of Nigerian Union of Journalists from the Southeast Zone and a public affairs analyst. Comrade.
It's my pleasure to be here at Aneke TV.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Today, we'll begin to look at a myriad of issues ranging from the president's travels, the coalition, the EFCC, and the coalition. But to start with, let's take a look at our president. A lot of people has criticized him for his travels. In fact, the opposition has given him the tag of the most traveled president since our inception to democracy in 1999. According to them, since his swearing in about 26 months ago, he has traveled for over 180 times. In fact, as at the last travel, they said it was the 40th since the 26 months they've sworn him in. And when we compare this, starting from the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, who was said to have traveled to about 97 countries within the 8 years of his administration, and we all know that at this point in time, he traveled a lot, trying to salvage the image of the nation, battered with years of military rule. Then, tracing it down to the era of President Goodluck Jonathan, who was heavily criticized for his travels as well. In his case, he was said to have traveled for about 88 to 100 times in 6 years. Then we narrow it down to our late former president, Muhammadu Buhari, who equally, in his 2 terms, was said to have traveled less. In fact, he is estimated to have traveled out of the country for about 108 times out of the country when compared to this present administration. Comrade, how do you see this?
Thank you very much. I don't think our challenge as a nation is the number of times our president travels. Rather, it is that he inherited a very troubling economy.
Okay.
And most of his travels have to do with trying to link up with investors, trying to attract FDIs, foreign direct investments, or even portfolio investments or investors, trying to also burnish the image of the country. Yes, the former President Olusegun Obasanjo may have inherited long years of military dictatorship and needed to also burnish the image and reputation of the country. May have also traveled to lobby for debt forgiveness, where we are seriously, heavily indebted when he came in. But those issues have not left. Those issues for which he traveled are still with us in terms of how the international community view the nation. Our successive presidents have not placed Nigeria where they should be. So when the incumbent, the current president came on board, he had to, of course, take some drastic policy decisions, including the removal of subsidy on petroleum products and the rebalancing of our naira to stabilize and remove arbitrage between naira and dollar, the difference, the foreign exchange. So all these things had implications on our economy. And as he's battling to put a handle to stabilize the economy, he also needed to engage the international community to attract foreign investment. Well, the only source of our foreign exchange happens to be oil only, our major source. Almost 90 to 95% of our foreign earnings come from oil. So we need to diversify. We need to bring investors to come in with their dollar. That the regulatory framework, the economic parameters have been put in place by removing subsidy, by stabilizing the naira, by introducing other economic measures to ensure that people can freely trust the economy to bring in their money to invest in the economy.
In other words, comrade, you are of the view that these travels are not just mere travels, because according to the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, that Nigeria doesn't need a tourist president. In fact, narrowing down to the opposition coalition, they are of the view that these travels has not shown any tangible economic gains.
Well, that is the former presidential candidate of Labour Party. As opposition member, his job is to criticize government policies and actions. But like I said, the president of a country is the chief image maker, the chief foreign affairs person, number one person, who can market the country, who can engage in bilateral and unilateral negotiations and agreements. And when a president of a nation is sitting with you on a table, you can almost take his words to the bank than when his representative is negotiating with you. You still be doubting in your mind. You don't know whether their president will accept this the way it is or not. But when you have a president coming to you, coming to your country to negotiate with you, or attending international events to make commitments, it gives greater level of confidence and assurance to the international community. That is what he's doing. But like also, it's a matter of style. Maybe another president may prefer to travel less, using foreign minister, using ambassadors or high commissioners, though unfortunately, due to the economic downturn, the present administration is yet to appoint ambassadors and high commissioners since their recall nearly 2 years ago. But I believe that they will do that very soon.
What, in your opinion, would you think is the reason behind not appointing ambassadors and high commissioners till this moment?
The reason they gave was that scarcity of funds, because you have to fund these foreign missions.
And then the president has to become the
to a large extent,
and the ambassador, the high commissioner of the country.
That is why he has to engage in so many of these travels.
Now, comrade, let's bring it home. There are people who are of the view that these travels, you said, is a matter of style. But some are of the view that this president, despite the challenges that the nation is facing, security and economic as well, that this president has not spent a night in any state of the nation beside Lagos. How do you justify this as a matter of style?
That is, again, that he has not spent a night in any state does not show or does not mean that the security challenges are not being fought by the security agencies. of course, you could see some of their exploits. Of course, we have multiple security challenges ranging from terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery, and what have you. And so, but they are battling. I believe they are battling with the challenge. And in terms of the stability of our economy, you also recall the other day the president of World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, also came and said that the economy is being stabilized. Stability is not about the rate of our foreign exchange, forex, but the fact that it has remained stable for a relatively longer period of time, and that the arbitrage, the difference between black market rate of dollar and the official exchange rate has been narrowed, so you can plan. And of course, in the area of our petroleum sector, there is also a measure of stability in terms of exploitation and exploration. The only area I believe the nation is having a very serious challenge is in terms of refining, NNPC refining, utilizing the refineries. So I think that, of course, in terms of security, I think 2-3 days ago, the National Security Advisor, Ribadu, also addressed a press conference to showcase a number of terrorist leaders arrested due to diligent covert operations by the Department of State Services. So what it means is that even if the president is not going to states to spend the night, the security agencies are doing their job. Like I said, it's a question of style. Well, maybe some other president may prefer to go to visit states, spend days, but the fact remains that he's still not the one that will be in the field to fight the insurgents or confront the criminals. Is he empowering the security agencies to do their job? Yes. Some of these his foreign visits has also led to America to remove the major obstacle towards buying arms and ammunition to fight insurgency. As we can see, last week the American government approved for Nigeria to buy high-profile military equipment and aircraft, high-precision aircraft, to be able to deploy towards curtailing the insurgency. These are, I believe, the result of his commitment and assurances to the international community that such privilege, such ammunitions will not be used against the citizens, but against the insurgents and terrorists. And so, yes, he may not have scored 100%. You rate the administration in different sectors. But I think that what is apparent, what is evident, is the fact that there is stability. The country is witnessing some level of stability. Like Okonjo-Iweala said, what remains is now growth.
Good. Now that you mentioned Okonjo, I was coming to it. She is of the view that the economy is stabilized, and like you said, it's time
to grow
the economy and cushion the effect of that trying to stabilize the economy on the man on the street. Given that, don't you equally think that the citizenry need assurance from the president also with his presence?
If you ask me, yes. Everybody wants to see the president around his state or her state. But the truth is that Nigeria is running, or is supposed to be running, a federal system of government with 3 tiers of government: the federal, the state, and the local governments. And we know that under this administration, the states have been receiving the highest volume of financial support and federal allocation.
But
it will
be argued that the people has not felt the impact of this homogeneous allocation.
Thank you.
In fact, the president was seen to have told the governors that it's time to let the impact of this homogeneous
be grass.
Yes, in his way to wear the grass.
That is, well, because he knows.
Is that not an indictment on the government itself?
No, not government. Government is not only federal government. Like we have government.
It means that there's no cohesion in policy.
This is the federal system of government. There is no need to be. You don't need to be.
But we have majority predominant APC governors in this state.
Yes, we have predominant APC.
So going by their manifestos, they all should be gearing towards the same roadmap.
That is what it should be.
But
in theory, but in practice, you know that some of the governors have their different orientations. Some of the local government chairmen have their different orientations. And there are different priorities. And so the president himself is worried that it appears that every blame is being shifted to the federal, whereas a lot of resources are going to the states. How well are they deploying it? What kind of projects? If you look at some of the projects, some of the governors are doing capital intensive, sometimes elitist projects.
Comrade.
That don't
speculate.
You
are beginning to sound like Bayo Ononoga.
No, I'm trying to put the facts.
But you've not seen anything wrong so far with this administration's approach to reforms, impact on the citizens.
Exactly what I'm saying. The approach and the impact is what we now need to also take a second look at. The federal government can use its influence, not by force, but influence to make the governors synchronize their own agenda and policies towards, wetting the grass, towards making life more bearable to the people.
All right.
Towards human capital development, rather than flyover routes and other similar projects that may not have direct impact on the living condition of the people. The federal government on its own can also intensify and expedite execution of those promises about palliatives, like CNG, that will bring down the cost of energy, the cost of transportation. When I say energy, electricity, of course, fuel, the cost of transportation, those things that impact the common man, the cost of healthcare, the cost of food.
Comrade, in view of what you've mentioned, would you categorically state that the common man is feeling the impact, I bet positively, of these reforms?
The reforms are yet to be fully felt by the people.
On that note,
but
comrade,
like we said, from stability, we hope that the federal government will intensify the process of growth so that the benefits of the reforms will begin to permeate the various strata of the society, particularly the common man. We no longer have the middle class. There's no doubt these two major policies of the federal government, especially the way it was announced, the removal of subsidy, and the way it was executed, had a very serious impact on our economy. The inflation rate and the cost of living standard of the people, the disposable income of the people. But when you have, at the beginning of the administration, inflation rose as high as 40.
In other words,
But now it's coming down. It's now 21, 22%.
Do we attribute that to lack of preparedness?
It's not about, it's like the manner through which they introduce these policies. Some people believe that to announce removal of subsidy on the day you are being inaugurated was not the best approach. That he should have come, received the handover notes, study the issues relating to subsidy, corruption, and even make example of 1 or 2 persons, prosecute them, know the exact subsidy the nation is paying. How much are we really paying as subsidy? When we remove corruption, how much are we now supposed to pay? But when you say subsidy is gone, it means that you have closed the door against investigating corruption relating. Well, many people believe that the subsidy regime was filled with a lot of corruption. Some people will just go and import water and discharge at the ocean, and then you pay them subsidy.
But that was not enough to arbitrarily on the AUS warning.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. I agree with those who believe that it should have been gradual, and we should have first of all determined how much are we really paying. What is the volume of consumption of fuel? How many liters of fuel do we consume a day?
In other words, comrade, you would be willing and happy to see a probe on the subsidy regime.
I am one of those who believe that you don't need to sweep so many things under the carpet in this country.
Right.
They need to start their probe. And the time is now.
Comrade, hold that. On that note, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with other pressing issues. All right, if you're just joining us, this is The Insight on Aneke TV, where we explore the heartbeat of politics, issues that affect our nation. And we are speaking with Comrade Kenneth, or former Vice President, Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Southeast Zone, and a public affairs analyst, a man who have seen it, witnessed it, written about it, and now is speaking about it. Comrade.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk political alignment and realignment. What do you make of the political realignment of the coalition, ADC, the rebirth of the PDP?
Well, I personally, as a progressive-minded person, and my professional orientation as a journalist, I would want the nation to witness real democracy. And democracy entails multiplicity of voices and choices as well. And so the coalition should be welcomed. They should be allowed to thrive. Opposition parties like the Labour Party, the PDP, should also be allowed to stand. I'm saying allowed because there might be invisible hands, as the members of these opposition parties allege, that there are invisible hands creating their internal crisis. If it is so, while I'm not saying it is so, but if it is so, such hands should be withdrawn and they should be allowed to operate. That is where you can get the best from our democracy. The coalition, if you recall, that is the style, the method through which the current administration came into office. Because at third attempt to upstage the then ruling party, the People's Democratic Party, the opposition failed because they were going about it based on individual efforts. But in 2014, 2015, the coalition that eventually led to formation of APC, the then Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, the then All Nigeria People's Party, ANPP, the then Congress of People's Party, CPP, if I'm right, the some branch of PDP, Greater faction of PDP,
Yes.
the progressive or the new PDP, what they call the new PDP, led by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and some elements of ABGA, led by former governor of Imo State, Richard Sokoroja. They came together and formed an alliance that metamorphosed into a new political party called the All Progressives Congress. Because of that coalition and force, they were able to come together, project one presidential candidate in the person of former President Buhari, and it helped. At the fourth attempt of him trying to be president, he was able to muster enough votes, particularly from the south, to add to his bank of votes, his 12 million votes that he always got from the north, and then he was able to become president. Now, having done two elections in 2019 and 2023, and having seen that it will be difficult to upstage the ruling All Progressive Congress, so the opposition elements are now beginning to use the same playbook of APC to see if they can also upstage the party. But they are still having difficulties to come together to use the African Democratic Congress, ADC, as a platform. And somebody like P2B is also hoping that they will be able to recover Labour Party from Abure, which appears to be happening based on the current, the most recent Federal High Court ruling in Abuja on last Friday, that the tenure of Abure has expired. So if Labour Party is able to recover, if the P2B group that are in the majority, including members of the NLC and the TUC, if they are able to recover Labour Party from Abure, then it will be another strong platform to launch. But even so, Labour Party will still need to partner with other coalition parties in order to make it.
Now
I don't think any of the presidential...
Now that you're mentioning the Labour Party,
Yes.
what do you make of it that these coalition politicians, about being in ADC, has a foothold on other political parties? This is different from the playbook that we witnessed in 2015.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same.
So with this, are you saying, we know that this may be quite early, but are you seeing a roadmap for victory for the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Like what we are doing now is trying to forecast,
Yes.
trying to speculate as analysts and public affairs commentator, that politics is very fluid and a day can make a difference.
Sure.
So we still have time. Like what is happening now, if they are able to get their acts together, I'm talking about the opposition parties, they may stand a good chance to give the ruling APC, a run for their money.
Comrade,
Yes.
let us analyze based on what is happening presently. You've mentioned P2B, and he has publicly stated that he will be on the ballot. Now, another person that is most likely to be on the ballot is former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. I use the word most likely. as of today, let's assume that these men will be on the ballot, and given that the PDP is witnessing a rebate, and we'll see them wooing the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to contest, come back into the fold, contest. Now, here is the scenario. We have a P2B who is commanding from the east, a Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, also from the south, south, who from the happenings recently will seem to have the trust of the north. And then, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who equally is from the north and would command the vote of the predominantly northern Muslims. I ask again, do you see a roadmap for the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to victory in 2027?
Of course, from the scenario you painted, opposition will divide their votes, and that we see the incumbent.
No, talking about this division, the APC in 2023 garnered 8,994,726 votes. That's the APC with which the president was declared winner with 12 states. Then the PDP garnered 6,984,000 votes, 520,000 votes, winning another 12 states. Then the Labour Party got 6,101,533 votes with 12 states and the FCT. And we are assuming as of today that these men will be in the ring come 2027. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had only 12 million votes, which will be balkanized in the south, and perhaps getting close to 25% from the north. In view of this, do you really see a roadmap to victory?
The scenario you painted, politics does not work like that. I can even tell you that he has consolidated more than 2023. Remember that time President Chinua was not in office. He was racing against so many odds, including some elements within his party trying to frustrate him. But now, he is the incumbent president. He has done a whole lot of groundwork that the Labour Party candidates will have to contend with him even within the southeast, south. And of course, the incumbent president will take the whole of southwest. He will take majority of the, in fact, majority of his vote came from the north. Then, in 2023. So if you are going to, let me even tell you another scenario that may not work, but if it works, it may affect the incumbent president. If, like you earlier said, if Jonathan is on the ballot, former President Jonathan, which is unlikely, and P2B is on the ballot, then you have the incumbent president from the southwest, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the ballot. Yeah. It means that they are going to divide their votes in the south. Then former Vice President Atiku will be the only candidate from the north. And you know, politics of sentiment in Nigeria, most likely, because he got majority of his votes in the last election from the north. And with the feelings in the north currently, even though the incumbent president, the APC is still in charge of many of the states in the north, but the sentiments in terms of the holo polloi, the grassroots, the common man in the street, they may go for their northern brother, because
that means there is a disaffection for the president.
That's what I'm saying. With the current disaffection,
yes,
in parts of the north, But there's still time.
So
the current president
is losing that base.
He's not. Let me say, like I said earlier, that it is still far from the election day.
Sure.
But we are assuming the election is tomorrow.
Yes.
But the election is not tomorrow. We still have not up to 2 years, but we still have nearly 2 years for the election to happen. And that disaffection we are talking about, the president will come up with a strategy to overcome that he is currently doing. If you look at the number of northerners he's giving political appointments, if you look at the way he's now trying to tilt developmental projects and the budget towards the north, if you look at the last Saturday's by-election, the outcome that APC won,
let's look into it.
Then you will understand that he may change that disaffection before long.
Are you saying
opposition is to come together?
Are you saying that with APC being able to win 12 constituency in this by-election, that is a pointer that the president is most likely, through his strategy, dominate 2027, assuming the election?
Yeah, it counts. It counts for the party.
It counts.
It counts for the party. Who made all these victories during the by-election possible? Most of them are incumbent governors, and they have majority of the governors. And no governor will allow himself to be defeated in his state. They have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the reach. To some extent, they control the coercive forces.
With that, let's bring it home to the southeast. Do you see or think that the APC can win the southeast, assuming, given the state of things today?
If P2D will be on the ballot, it will be APC, Southeast will be a battleground. It will not be a rollover like it was in 2023 for the Labour Party candidate then. Because as we speak, the strength of APC in the Southeast has increased. Practically all the governors are promising the president, even if I don't come into your party, but I will work for you. You know, it's like a quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
But this was equally the situation on ground as at 2023, when P2B, like you mentioned, was said to not have any structures in place.
No, granted that he has a bigger movement, which is a formidable force. They don't depend on any party. They don't depend on any structure.
No,
but that lack of structure.
Bearing that in mind, that the obedient movement is a solid structure, and given what is happening today, P2B seems to have made inroads to the north.
That if you don't have the political structure, your mass appeal, there's the level they can take you. That was what happened to Buhari.
But this mass appeal,
yes,
this mass appeal garnered
and that's the point now.
States and FCT.
Buhari had always won 12 million votes in the north. But he never became president until he partnered with. Let me tell you why.
He partnered with.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
He partnered with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes, yes.
Now P2B is partnering with the north. El-Rufai is there.
Is El-Rufai the north?
Atiku Abubakar is there. You are talking about the structure.
The north is divided.
You are talking about the structure. The north is divided.
The governors, ministers, other political appointees are with the president. Those against the president are those out of power in the north. And so, what is going to happen is that if you have mass appeal, but you don't have the structure to win elections. Remember that Labour Party didn't have even polling agents in more than 40% of polling units across the country. I think we don't have a polling agent to monitor what is happening in the remotest part of Sokoto or Maiduguri or Adamawa. And we can only win in some areas, but we won't know what is happening there. Granted that is making it into the north, but you still need the political structure. If he partners with the North, and if the North are able to overcome their suspicion that he may not do only one term like he's promising them, if they trust him that okay, P2B will do only one term, so that the North, the power will go back to the North, and they give him that support, and he's able to get a formidable candidate from the North, they will make a serious impact.
If not faction,
But if Atiku is running from the North, P2B is running from the South,
and the president,
no, forget about Jonathan, I don't believe he will run.
Okay.
One is that
but let's assume let's assume he runs.
I can't assume because I know what is happening. There is no platform for him to even run. PDP is not available for him. Wike is still in charge of PDP, and Wike has said he will support President Bola Tinubu for second term. If he is in charge of PDP, who will give Jonathan or anybody the platform to run?
Let's bring it to the southeast Enugu State, for instance. The APC making an inroad to Enugu State with the performance of a PDP governor.
You see, incumbency is a double-edged sword. If you judge the governor as being performing, when the campaign starts, the opposition will tell you the areas he has failed, his shortcomings. I won't mention them because I'm not assessing him now. Now, that's why I say it is double-edged. Meanwhile, he is trying to come into APC. So,
you have that privileged information?
Is it not obvious to you?
We've not heard him declare.
I didn't say he has declared. I said that he's making efforts.
That means you have a privileged information.
Of course, it's no longer privilege. It's a common street information. It's a common knowledge.
And in your estimation, if and should the governor move to the APC, do you think he would still win Enugu State?
If the APC people in the state accept him.
If
yes,
the APC people
and
in
if
the
they
state
yield,
accept him.
yes, if they yield the structure. Wait now, let me land on my. If they accept him and yield the structure to him to even run, I don't think he will have any serious.
All right, comrade. On that note, viewers, if you're watching us, this is still the Insight on Aneke TV, where we bring expert opinions, analysts to x-ray and dissect issues that are making the headlines and affecting the common man on the street who live these issues, these stories, these topics. We've heard from Comrade Kenneth Ofoma, former vice president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists from Southeast, and public affairs analyst, a man who has lived it, seen it, and has written about it, and now is speaking about it. Now it's left for you, our viewers, to send us your views, what you think about these issues, or the issues you want us to raise in our next edition. Reach us at Aneke TV on our social handles, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube. And remember, your voice matters. At this point, we will draw the curtain on today's program. And thank you for being part of the inaugural edition of this program. Comrade, it's a pleasure speaking with you.
It's my pleasure to be your first guest in the inaugural program.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.